Launched an assault on the Afghan Parliament today, triggering gunfire and explosions. The attack came as Afghan President's nominee for the crucial post of Defence Minister was to be introduced in Parliament and ended 2 hours later when all 7 attackers, including a suicide car bomber, were dead. The assault took place when the House was in session, leaving lawmakers running around for cover. The assault on such a high-profile target in downtown Kabul raises fresh questions about security. Afghan forces are battling a resurgent Taliban for the first time without the aid of NATO forces who ended their combat mission in December. According to Afghan police, first a car bomb detonated on the main road near the parliament building. Then a group of attackers entered a building in front of the parliament. Around 15 civilians were wounded in the initial explosion. Now, the attackers also fired rocket-propelled grenades at parliament, causing minor damage. The Taliban launched a countrywide offensive in late April, stepping up attacks on government and foreign targets in what is expected to be the bloodiest fighting season in a decade. Now, the militants recently rebuffed requests from senior Afghan clerics to halt attacks during the fasting month of Ramzan, even as a surge in violence has sent civilian casualties soaring. And we're now joined by Reuters journalist in Afghanistan, Hamid Shalizi. Hamid, thanks for speaking to us here on DD News. First, let's talk about that whole attack that took place. Can you confirm the number of casualties for us? How many civilians were injured in that attack?
Well, thank you. A group of Taliban insurgents attacked Afghan Parliament, as you are aware. The attack began with when a suicide bomber blew himself up just outside the Parliament building, and 6 other attackers were trying to enter the compound, but they were actually killed by Afghan forces in this nearly 2-hour gun battle. We were actually told by the Afghan Kabul police that more than 20 civilians were wounded, but there were no casualties inflicted to the MPs or the senators. Most important is that Masoom Salekzai, a nominee for the Defense Ministry, was actually at the Parliament with President, second Vice President when the attack happened, but they all escaped unhurt.
Now, Hamid, if we were to talk about this whole attack and now, the sudden surge of violence that we're seeing by the Taliban, the kind of inroads that they're also trying to make in North Afghanistan, what are the challenges that the Afghan forces are really facing there?
Well, I mean, we have spoken to security analysts here, and they believe that it's actually Taliban shift of strategy for this year, because last year it was pretty much hit and run, but this time they're more focusing on gaining territories. And it's a huge challenge for Afghan forces because the Afghan government and also the foreign allies have always considered and focused on the southern and eastern part of the country, where it has always been a battlefield in recent years. And provinces in north that are actually seemed relatively peaceful were not considered as a priority. So it's a huge challenge because Afghan forces are lacking equipment and numbers. Sometimes Taliban engage with Afghan forces in some districts, and the reinforcements do not arrive for days. So this is a huge challenge. And one more thing is that since the departure of the foreign troops, Afghan forces are giving less airstrikes and coalition forces air cover. That actually allowing Taliban to attack in large numbers, sometimes in hundreds and also in close to thousands. And the fighting is sometimes dragged on for days and weeks.
Now, Hamid, if we were to talk about the last time that militants tried to storm the Afghan Parliament was in about 2012, do you think the timing of this attack is also significant, looking at that the president's nominee as a defense minister was taking over and also attacking Parliament? How significant does that become?
Well, it's a significant attack because the Parliament is actually located in a very safe area. There are several there are several checkpoints before reaching the Parliament building. It's the Afghan people, especially in Kabul, still do not know and raising this question of how the Taliban managed to get to the close to the Parliament and blowing up a car close to the compound, and also the 6 fighters were trying to get in. So this is actually one of the major attacks in Kabul since 2013, when the Taliban actually attacked the presidential palace and CIA headquarters.
All right, Hamid, we'll leave it there, but thank you so much for joining us. So those was Reuters journalist in Afghanistan, Hamid Shaliji, who was speaking to Doordarshan News and giving us details on the attack that took place on the Afghan Parliament today. Moving on, Indian ambassador to Afghanistan, Amar Sinha, told DD News that all Indians are safe in Kabul. He said that no Indian national was present at the Parliament attack site.